Welcome to the Juggling Mind and Money podcast with Steve Rowe and Jessica Schlupp-Taylor. Steve Rowe is the founder of Lucent Financial Planning and an award-winning independent financial planner. He helps you to use your money and have a great life. Jess Schlupp-Taylor is a psychologist supporting people through change, challenges, and forks in the road of life. Together, they will help unblock the sludge in your mind, stopping you from achieving financial and psychological happiness.
Hello and welcome to Juggling Mind and Money, episode 42 with Steve Rowe of Lucent Financial Planning, where we're going to talk about money that makes sense, financial planning for people with special educational needs or differences. And today we have, as I've just said, my hero, a very special guest, Rhiannon Goff, who established SENDA. So SENDA. Tell us what that means.
Special Educational Needs and Disability Advisors.
Oh, yeah. Mm. And tell us exactly, Rhiannon. That sounds like high pressure, doesn't it? Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly what you've set up SENDA to do, who you are, why you did it, all those lovely things.
Okay. Exactly. I set it up to raise standards in special needs planning in the UK because there was a lot of, not misinformation out there, but there was just this cavity of information, a vacuum of information about what to do.
Black hole.
Yes. Thank you very much. Exactly. About what to do when you have a family with someone with disabilities and they have unique challenges. This family has unique financial challenges. And hang on a second, as a financial advisor, as a solicitor, as a trustee, how am I helping them? And how can I help them? So we're setting standards in planning. We are educating and empowering advisors. And we're doing that because there is this lack of information, lack of credible information out there. And our aim is just generations of empowered, well-off, thriving people with learning disabilities or neurodivergence, rather than what I see time and time again, which is people whose parents didn't have good information, that are relatively poorer and more vulnerable because of it.
So this is important to me because my eldest brother has such needs, and I have to say it's a nightmare.
It is.
It's an absolute nightmare managing his finances. And I do it for a living. So for people without that experience of or knowing what to do, it's incredibly hard. So if you don't mind, Rhiannon, would you mind telling us about your family situation? And
Sure. So my son is 16. He has autism. So I have Tristan, he has complex autism. So he's pre-verbal. He's not really able to answer any questions. He attends a special school. He was diagnosed when he was 3. I have 2 sons. So I have Tristan, who's 16. He goes to a special school and he has complex autism. Yeah. And I have an elder son who is 18 and he is neurotypical. And a husband who is my husband. So there's 2 of us and 2 children. And yeah, obviously it's because of Tristan that I got into this field, and it's so incredibly close to my heart.
Yeah. So we will have different outlooks on that, because obviously I'm a brother rather than a parent, and how I've experienced it and grown up with it, because he's just my brother. And I love him like any other brother. But it does give you a different outlook. I don't get upset about this, but I do get highly practical because of how I'm used to dealing with my brother. Okay. So what I'd like to first understand for people out there who might not know the issues is with traditional financial advice or financial planning, or what you might do yourself, what do you need to particularly look out for? What mistakes could people make when looking after these finances for someone else?
It's our financial planning system, it assumes certain things that just don't work for someone like Tristan. So it assumes that they'll be independent. So it assumes that from a financial planning perspective, you're naturally sort of you'd want to get as much money in this young person's hands as you possibly could. You'd want them to receive a lot in inheritance. You'd want them to have access to money. But you have to stand back from that as a special needs planner and think there's sort of the three harms that I see in my practice, and it is access. So is that person going to be able to access what you leave behind, what you give to them, what they have in their own name? And that will come down to whether they have or lack mental capacity to be able to access those accounts or receive an inheritance. So that's access. The second is risk and vulnerability. So leaving any money, giving any money to someone like Tristan would just exacerbate his vulnerabilities. It would make him a target of abuse potentially, or financial abuse. So I don't want to leave him in control of his own money. So that's access, risk, so I want to protect him from risk. And the last part of the puzzle is means tested care, benefits and support. And as an advisor, I have to be really mindful that what I'm putting in place does not jeopardize this young man's care, benefits and support, because you have somebody that might not be able to provide for themselves, and every single case is different. So there'll be families out there with someone who is vulnerable but is not in receipt of means tested care, benefits and support, and has capacity. And there'll be all different types of families out there, all different shapes. So we're not all the same. But with Tristan, he wouldn't be able to access things. He would be vulnerable, and he will be in receipt of means tested care. So that's what we call the ARC framework in SENDA. So as an advisor, I'm looking, am I setting up things he can access? Am I making him more at risk? If so, can I build a protection around that? And am I impacting care? Am I actually jeopardizing this chap's supported living, for example? Does that make sense?
Absolutely. So, in my experience with my brother, so who is highly verbal, mainly with swear words, right? Like, we've experienced people taking advantage of his money and having it, but from his point of view, he wants to feel independent. So getting this balance right has been incredibly difficult for us, and setting up all sorts of various bank accounts and money flying around the place, so it's only accessible at certain times of the week, that kind of thing. Because we've had incidences where he's been taken to a bank by someone and got his money out on his cash card before we had these limits put in place in what he could get each day. Which is all, so everything is other people, isn't it, Rhiannon?
Yeah, and that's make crime, and that's just staggering. So so people like Tristan and Tristan will be susceptible to make crime, and that's a sad, really sad term, but it is a term that exists because you have situations like that. I've worked with solicitors where someone's inherited and then they've been befriended and literally just given away 6 figures, and it has gone, it has walked.
Wow.
And so there's that protection. So, but you're absolutely right, because you can't just take someone's decision making and someone's, you can't just sort of shield someone without giving them autonomy. And so that's a really lovely nuance in special needs planning, because we're thinking, how do we're not looking to sort of protect the living daylights out of someone so they don't actually have any autonomy themselves. There's a fine balance to be met. You're absolutely right. So when it comes to sort of deputyship versus lasting powers of attorney, for example, what's the least restrictive way of helping this person? That's a really nice way of looking at estate planning as well, and general financial planning. It's really, that's really sad to hear. I don't like to hear that at all.
It's horrible, isn't it?
Yeah.
So when it comes to benefits, because they're sometimes means tested, aren't they?
Yep.
Having lots of money arrive, whether it's as an inheritance or as a gift, this can essentially just get rid of those benefits, which in our experience, you have to fight really hard to get, and to get the support you need. And it's not just the money, it's the other support that comes with it. Explain what you could do to help prevent that, but still ensure, particularly when you're gone, that they would have funds available to them.
So usually what we would look at is when we are leaving money in our will, we wouldn't generally do that directly. We would wrap that in some kind of trust. And generally speaking, in special needs planning, there's two different types of trust that we would use. Either a discretionary type trust or a disabled persons or vulnerable persons trust. So there's two different types of trust. And by wrapping assets or by protecting assets in trust, we generally sort of tick off those three harms. So we make them accessible because, we don't check whether a trust has mental capacity or not. Assets just pass into a trust. It's fine. We protect that person from vulnerability because we have the oversight of trustees. So we have people there. Mine is my mother-in-law. I mean, imagine that. Somebody tries to approach my son for money, they have to go through mother-in-law. So really good luck on that one. So there's a protection on with trustees there. And then assets held in a discretionary trust, while they're in the trust, are not generally assessed as being that person's for means necessary care. And I have to be really clear, it's not that we're sort of saying as special needs planners, my gosh, we never want them to pay for care. It's not that at all. It is exactly as you've said. You've hit the nail on the head. If I'm no longer here and my son loses his care package, oh my gosh, how is he going to get that back? He's non-verbal. I don't know who might be able to advocate for him. There's no guarantee he would get the same package of support back. And that is that's catastrophic for someone with, like Tristan, with autism. It's utterly catastrophic. And the way you protect against that, generally speaking, is you would consider trusts, either using lifetime gifts into trust, using them within your will, usually allow you to protect against those three harms.
Yeah. It would be catastrophic, and it's just so difficult dealing with all this anyway when you're removed because you're not that person.
Mm-hmm.
So I was to explain this to people. If you ring up and you're trying to get your identity verified, when it's you, that's hard enough sometimes, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Let alone when it's someone else and you've got power of attorney or something like that. It's difficult. So when did you set up SENDA, Rhiannon?
2024. So I've been advising for 26 years and exclusively advising special needs families through Planet Future for 10. And then in 2024, so I'm sort of, doing this with charities, doing this with parents, and then financial planners are sort of, what are you doing and how are you doing that? And how, tell me about that. And so I started training through the Personal Finance Society in Solar in 2024. And I thought, you know what, there needs to be this kind of joined up approach, because I'm often talking with solicitors and it's like this silo approach. So the solicitor does their bit and they do it brilliantly. And then things just get left, like the pension or the death in service. And vice versa, a financial advisor can do really well in certain areas and just miss that collaboration, that team approach. And it really does need that team approach. So I set up SENDA in 2024 to do that, and literally just put a message out on LinkedIn. I was like, hey, everyone, I'm just going to do this. 17th of September, I just picked a date. 17th of September, come along. And like 74 people turned up. It was like different.
Wow.
I know.
I bet you didn't have enough canapes.
No, it was a Zoom thing. I didn't have enough virtual canapes. And I had like MenCap Trust Company turn up, and I had solicitors, court of protection deputies, financial advisors, charities. It was incredible. So that's
you must have immediately thought you're onto something there then.
I did. I really did. But to be fair, I've been doing this now for 10 years, and 10 years ago I would talk to people about it and they'd be like, oh, that's so nice. Good for you, Rhiannon. That's so sweet. But yeah, we don't want to know about it, but well done you. And now it's like, oh, we do want to know about it. And the thing is, it's a thing in the States. So I know, I speak to, you can be a chartered special needs consultant in the US. And I know the people that founded that in the US. I sort of meet with them and I talk with them. So I didn't know that when I first set up SENDA, but I saw that and I was like, okay, yeah, now we're going somewhere.
Was that, so I first become aware of you at Humans Under Management, was that year?
Yeah, I think it was.
Must be, I can't remember.
I think it was the same. Yeah, that was November, wasn't it?
So you'd only just done it 2 months before then?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's right. Exactly.
So for any financial planners listening, which to be fair is probably most of the audience of 7, right? And Yes, there's no canapes on this either. Explain what you can do for them, because you've got a SENDA certification, haven't you?
Really pleased. Yeah, it's been the most epic week, honestly, at SENDA, and personally. So as I was saying earlier, I went off to see this amazing it wasn't supported living, it's like a provision that some amazing parents have put in place for someone with autism yesterday. Super duper fired up about that. But the beginning of this week, so towards the end of this week, we got it's all blending into one, but we have now LIBF, so London Institute of Banking and Finance, accredited training, and I am so pleased with that, because that is we have the introduction course, we have the foundation course, we've created a blueprint that's all gone to the LIBF, they've accredited that, and there's CPD with that, and certification is coming. But the first step, the foundation course and the introduction, are available now. So we're doing an introduction next week. At time of recording, it'll be next week, on the 19th of June. We're doing a live introduction that. But if you want to, as a financial planner, go on and look at the foundation course. That's a 3-part course with a case study at the end. You can go and do that now on our website.
And what time is that on the 19th? Now, I know this sounds very much like an advert, which it is, because I really want other financial planners to sign up. But I have signed up for it and lost the date and time, so I'm really glad.
I think it's 12. I'm pretty sure it's 12 till 1.
12 to 1, that's good. I mean,
For
I was
lunch
just
and
asking
then.
that for the show, obviously, not
Obviously.
for my own lack of administrative skills in noting down something. So this is massive, isn't it? Because obviously people should be doing this, because you never know who's going to turn up at your door and what issues they may have within their family, and what you might need to do, so you can be aware of it. But also, that's the main driver, so you can help. But this will also help with your professional qualifications, won't it?
It'll help in so many different areas. It's exciting from a professional connection perspective. So if you're a financial advisor and you're wanting to build up professional connections, honestly, special needs planning is just such a gold dust opportunity, because you have to liaise with solicitors. So you have to be referring to solicitors for wills and trusts, and you'll find that throughout the life of that client, that there'll be loads of reasons for you to go back to the solicitor, and potentially for the solicitor to learn about the speciality that you do, so you can help in the ways that you can help. And it's just a great opportunity to do that. It's probably more prevalent than you imagine. So 1 in 5 children in England have special needs. So it's a great opportunity to talk to more families, to help them. And then lastly, with my family in particular, and I think with pretty much every family I talk to, it isn't just the parents that need help. It is often the siblings. So I was speaking to the sibling of this young man yesterday. We were talking about what does a trustee do and what he can expect, if when the time comes and mom and dad are no longer here, if he is going to be involved some way in his brother's care. So the siblings that you can help, there are grandparents that you can help, who many grandparents actually ironically want to leave more to a special needs child than perhaps someone that's independent. So your referral network, both professionally and personally, can just really explode with special needs planning.
Yeah. So, well, they're just trying to protect them, aren't they?
Yep.
And like, this is the good side of humanity, where people, recognise issues and really want to help out. But it's how you help can have a massive difference, can't it? So
it's it really is life-changing. So like yesterday, that provision that I went to have a look at, so the parents brought me in to put together a plan that protects it, because they're worried. They're so feisty, for want of a better word. But they're in their 70s and they've done everything for their sons, but they do not want someone in the family to die and leave money, for them, one of them to die, and for that all to be just to fall apart. So you can imagine how precious that is, to be able to go and talk to them and just put together all of the protection and all of the documentation, and explain what goes in the letter of wishes, and explain the differences between the different trust options they've got. Talk to them about professional trustees, go to the trustee and liaise with that trustee, and pull them all together like a team. It's really, really powerful, and it was really meaningful to see that yesterday.
So I found with my parents, they want to protect us, so my other brothers, from having to do stuff, and now they're getting on a bit, and we've always been against that. We've always tried to help. We're not shirking or anything, and we prefer to. But now they're getting on a bit. They're finding it hard to let go.
Yeah.
And my brother goes to them first quite a lot. Probably because they stick up for him more than we do, because we're brothers. So what are your thoughts on that, and how over time, because obviously as parents you're more likely to pass away first, and how to manage that care going into the future?
That's a really difficult one, and it was exactly the same with this family, many families, because I think so many parents are used to just being copers and doing it all themselves, and you get quite cynical. Just being completely honest with you, from a parent's perspective, you just think, I can't trust other people to do that the way that I would do it, and so it's really hard to pull back a bit. But I think there just needs to be, especially before you need care yourself, or whilst you're able to still make decisions, there's so much valuable transition planning that you can do. And I would try to suggest to the families that I work with, that they just try to sort of document things and just understand how much they're taking on and keeping up here as well in their heads, for people that can't see this, but keeping up in their heads, get that documented, and just think about the team to carry on. So that's a bit I put in the book about the team to carry on before your hand is forced. And that can be a really incredibly powerful conversation, because you get to control who that team is. And whilst you can think about whether it might be better to involve professionals, whether that might be better rather than family, or whether you'd have a combination of professionals and families. But you can only really do that whilst you've got the capacity to do it and the headspace to do it.
My view is the more people involved, the better. And where some people are trying to take on or do more of it, it doesn't necessarily help. And with having that individual get used to different people helping them out, I think is good, rather than going to one person, because that's, if we're talking about business risks, what's the one where it's one person, that's a link in the chain. If that busts or blows up for whatever reason, like death, your personal illness, that's big trouble. And if they're not used to seeking help from other people, that's an issue. Plus, it spreads the personal load that you're taking on as the main carer. That's always going to be there, but having more people to talk it through that understand what you're going through, I think is a massive, massive relief.
I think that's a really important perspective, and that is lived experience right there. And you're so right. And I see that a lot in divorcing parents as well. So quite often you'll have, say, if someone's divorced and then they end up as sort of sole carer. And I really encourage people to try and build like a circle around you. Try and build a circle around that person. As tempting as it is, try not to be self-sufficient. Try to sort of build people while you still can, while you can control that. Build a network so other people know them and they're used to other people. And it's not just like a bang and then everything changes, because change and routine and how important routine is. I mean, yesterday I had so with this house, one thing that's really fascinating to me, they took out all the doors and replaced them. So all the doors were like solid in this house for this young man, and they replaced them with like glass, like half glass doors. And they did that so the person can know in advance who's coming into the room. And I just love that. And it's like that, knowing in advance who's going to come into the room.
Yeah.
Knowing, planning for it, taking time, transition, managing that transition.
Circle the wagons, Rhiannon. I like to make everything into some sort of Western analogy, but circle the wagons.
Circle. Now I'm thinking about wagon wheels, but yeah.
Wagon wheels, why have they got so much smaller?
Everything's got smaller.
On your first event you did, if you'd had 70 wagon wheels in the olden days, you wouldn't be able to have, everyone would have left some. But now they'd be polished off in no time.
Where's the rest? Exactly. What is it? Stealth inflation.
Yeah. Wagon wheel inflation. So what's the one main thing, the first thing that anybody who's looking after someone's finances that's got special education needs, what's the first thing they should concentrate on, or the biggest error they could make?
Two things. There's two real nasty ones. And the first one is definitely estate planning. Just be really careful around estate planning. Do not fall into the temptation of just having everything flow to that young person because you think they might not be provided for in the future. It's really, in special needs planning, we kind of don't do that. We do quite the opposite. We try to keep as much as we can outside of that person. Second thing is savings. Junior ISAs are just not a special needs family's best friend at all. It will cost me £2,309 to go to the Court of Protection to get an order just to access Tristan's junior ISA. So it's not accessible, and then it will make him eligible for his care when he gets to 18. So as a vehicle itself to use for someone like Tristan, it does not work as far as I'm concerned, needs consideration. Definitely be careful of that.
Yeah, so that grandparents, that's the sort of thing they would fund a lot, isn't it?
Yeah.
I find.
Yeah. Exactly. Really careful there.
I think that just as a general point on junior ISAs, anyone getting access to that money at 18 might not necessarily be a good thing.
Yeah. So I mean, I love him, adore him, but I had a young chap with autism that got access to his junior ISA, and mum lives in a bungalow. Okay. And he goes off with his friend to the car auction. Bear in mind, she's in a bungalow. There's no parking. He bought 4 cars at the auction with all of his savings. And the next thing mum knows is this like car transporter in the cul-de-sac. These 4 cars. And it was, okay, an unwise decision doesn't mean this chap lacks capacity, just to make that clear. But I think mum was just mortified that had happened, and she hadn't had the opportunity just to have some kind of oversight with him. It had just gone poof into his name, and he'd gone, well, hey, I'm going off to the car auction.
This is exactly what I grew up with. So my brother would be doing that all the time. Like at one point, it's pretty much once a week. I'd get home from school and there'll be an old banger that doesn't even start anymore. Yeah, on the drive where he's got some money, like £100 or something, and gone and bought a car, managed to get it home, but then that's it. It's clapped out.
Yeah.
It's always a rough time coming home from school when I was younger. What's going on? So for financial planners out there, obviously they should go and do your course and get the certification. And I think this is a thing that financial planners do a lot, connecting lawyers, accountants, all those parts. That's a big part of our job, I think.
Sure.
Getting people together. Like as you were saying, I liked when you were talking earlier about getting a team together. Felt very much Power Rangers vibes. Where you get together and everyone's a lot better because of it.
It is true though, and you cannot do it in isolation. That's the thing. I can't write wills. I mean, I could if I wanted to, but it's not my swim lane. I do not want to be drafting discretionary trusts. I need a specialist to do that, and a solicitor cannot be setting up investments and such. So we have to work together. Accountants, you mentioned exactly. So I need trust and tax accountants for the taxation of the discretionary trust potentially. All of these different parts working together is really important. Yeah, absolutely. And the bit about SENDA that's probably most exciting. So the foundation course with its accreditation is really exciting, but we're building a community. And I think that's where the real power is from the Power Ranger perspective, because you'll be able to go onto the community and say, hey, I'm looking for a solicitor in Peterborough to help me with this client or and that was our goal. And I think that will absolutely give better outcomes for families if you can bring in those like power force this and power force that. They've just got this dream team working for them. And that is the dream really behind the SENDA community.
So as part of your certification, and if you join up, do you get like a Power Rangers one-piece suit?
Yes.
Is that a
And
thing?
it's blue. No. And just to clarify, so the certification is the one that's coming. That's the big thing.
Oh.
This foundation is the accreditation. So we've got accredited training. That's all there. And then we are literally producing a certification that is in depth and it's mega. So that's coming, and the accreditation, the foundation training, which is accredited. And you get, when you pass that and do that, you would get, if you want to be, access to the community. You can be part of the SENDA community. You could have a SENDA community badge if you want it as well.
So as part of this, so if you're finding, say, you want to find a lawyer that can help you, for people out there that might be looking, it's not, you shouldn't really make the assumption that they know what they're doing, should they? Because this is overlooked a lot by them. So is there any sort of qualification or certification that, say, solicitors have that can help you understand that they do have the expertise and qualifications required to advise in this area?
So I look for TEP personally. So you'll know STEP, but TEP. I would look for TEP members. I would, when I'm looking. So if I am asked, if I sort of have a consultation with a client and they want a solicitor in their area, so I'm looking for TEP. I would go on and look at their vulnerable client experience. I'd probably look to see if they had some kind of professional trustee corporation sat behind them or access to a professional trustee corporation. So you have some solicitors that are really specialist in certain areas, and they might be affiliated with charities. They might be certain charities or certain professional connections, trustee connections. I would look for that as well. So I'd look for TEP. I would go on and look at their vulnerable client experience, and I would certainly look to see if they've got an affiliation with some kind of professional trustee corporation.
Because that's the worry, isn't it? You think you're getting someone that can do it, but perhaps they can't. So you need to do your good due diligence, people. You
do, but you can, and you don't need. What I would say, the really important thing to say is that you don't actually you need to know what to look for. So you'd look for a TEP, you'd look for vulnerable client experience and vulnerable beneficiary experience, of course, but don't make the mistake of thinking you need to know loads about this in order to help people. Number one, I've got lived experience, but you don't need to have lived experience, just like you don't need to be retired to be a great retirement advisor. Lived experience is great, but it doesn't, if you haven't got it, it doesn't count you out from being a great special needs planner. And number two, you don't need to know it all. So you could, if you can identify a family like mine, so yep, do they have special education? Does the child have special? Does the adult have any kind of vulnerability or disability or whatever? Identify, even if you simply referred them to a brilliant solicitor to check their estate planning, it would be such a powerful step for them. Such a powerful step, such a brilliant piece of signposting for you to do that could literally change the financial future of that young person.
A massive impact you would have, wouldn't you?
Massive.
So I think all financial planners are trying to achieve that. Like, I don't think you do this if you don't want to help people. And so I, for one, want to help as many people as possible. So having those skills in your kit bag's super useful, isn't it?
I think. Do you tend to get solicitors listening to this, Steve, or just financial advisors?
Well, the ones I know.
So it always struck me as strange, with the greatest of respect to solicitors, to be.
Is that why you was asking? Was this
Maybe.
how deep you were going to go?
Yeah. Let me just check. Honestly, yeah. With the greatest of respect, it always struck me as fascinating that there are planning for the future seminars out there that are just run with solicitors with no financial planning input whatsoever. That always struck me as fascinating. And I'm a real, at Hum, and you've got Andy Hart with his It's a Noble Profession.
Yeah.
And he says that a lot, and I feel that really passionately. And so it was really strange to me to attend a seminar as a parent like that and not hear about life insurance and not hear about pensions and not hear about investments. And you're thinking, how am I providing for someone's future if I'm not thinking about any of those? It can't just be a legal thing. So yeah, I think there's a really compelling reason for a financial planner to be in the room here and to have part of this conversation too. And I'm excited to be able to talk to other financial planners about it. And I know loads of financial planners, their heart is in the right place. They want to know how to help as well. And it's a pleasure to go out and talk to advisors like that.
And you're a great speaker. So anyone who sees that you're speaking anywhere, go along.
Thank you.
I would suggest canapes, unlikely, but
Golden wheels.
maybe a wagon wheel. I think, and this is personal opinion, solicitors look down on us a bit, don't they? Or is it just me and my
the ones that I meet generally know. I have had meetings. I have walked into meetings. I'm perfectly honest with you. I have walked into meetings where, without knowing I'm a financial planner, someone said something like, "Oh, we couldn't trust that to a financial planner." Oh, they, and I've had to sort of calm down and then just
circle your wagons there.
Yes, circle the wagons. And that's sad. Predominantly, though, no, I think most of the solicitors that I deal with, you know what, actually, a lot of SENDA solicitors or are parents themselves, and they really just want to know how they can help and get more help for people like us out there. There you go. That's my answer to that one. That curveball, Steve.
Hey, Rhiannon, we'll wrap up now, but I'm going to hit you with one big one.
Okay.
One last question.
Mm-hmm.
And it can relate to anything you want. What is the number one thing, whether you're a family member, financial planner, a lawyer, whoever it is, what is the number one thing that when dealing with cases like this that you do, whether that's practical, like you said earlier about estate planning, or emotional, what would it be?
The thing that comes to mind first is that you've got to be ambitious in your planning. So this is not a neg subject. It can be incredibly powerful and ambitious to plan for someone like my son. And the number of times someone has come to me, said, "Oh, your son won't, oh, poor you. Yeah, your son won't be able to do that, or he might not be able to do that." Bring me someone who tells me what we want for him and wants to help me plan for him, and they can stay. And I'd be very happy with that. Bring me someone that's ambitious and is positive for my son's future. And blimey, will I put money behind that person because I want to plan. So it can be really ambitious, planning for the future. And that's, again, another reason why financial planners should be in the room as well. Because if anyone should be part of that conversation, it's a financial planner.
Because we're so used to looking forward, aren't we?
And planning.
Yeah.
It's what we do.
Encouraging people to do what they really want to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas most of us, professions, are looking back or right now.
Or avoiding pitfalls, and that's good. You can avoid pitfalls if you want, but rather, let's just sit down, look at this young person and think, what would be the best for them? And let's go for it. Come on.
Avoiding pitfalls, we're trying to find the big jumps across the ravine.
Whilst avoiding the pitfalls.
Yeah. Rhiannon, it's been fantastic talking to you. I hope to bump into you a lot in the future. And I'd like to help you wherever I can. I think, so I'm growing up with my brother, I think it's a great thing because he enables us to be a lot more immature than we would otherwise be. And, when you said about people look at it from a negative point of view, it's brilliant. We're off to a caravan in a few weeks to do some misbehaving for a few days with him. It's going to be awesome. We'll be like 12 again.
That's lovely.
So getting your financial planning set up to enable these people to continue that is awesome, I think.
Yeah.
So I have to say a big thank you to everybody in the world, from everybody in the world, for what you've done, because it's a really great initiative. I am well impressed, and I am the most unenthusiastic person in the world, right? It's absolutely brilliant what you've done. So I thank you. I'm sure a lot of people will thank you for that as well. And keep going, Rhiannon. I'm rooting for you.
No danger there. On a mission.
Brilliant. Thanks very much, everybody, for listening. We'll be back in another couple of weeks. God knows what we're going to do, but hopefully it'll be as good as what we've talked about with Rhiannon today. Thanks very much, everyone. See you later.